one of the best teams in the country, a team that I know T.O. believes has a chance to be the best team in America when we get to the month of February. That is the Duke Blue Devils and Cooper Flag. T.O., if you are John Shire, what are you asking for from Santa Claus for Christmas?
It's kind of like asking Jeff Bezos what he wants for Christmas. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do for the man. You know what I mean? Like, when you have an embarrassment of riches at every single position, I think you just need to fast forward and continue with what you've been doing offensively. A little ball movement sure helps. I mean, you want to maybe a hot potato, if you will. That's what I'll do. Hot potato in the stocking of John Shire. A little ball movement in order to get the ball moving, then the defense moving. And then you look at what Cooper Flag can do against a closeout. We haven't really seen that all that much. So if I had to do something, I'm dropping a little hot potato right there in John Shire's stocking. That's where I'm going this Christmas.
Randolph?
He better change I think he'd want to change the NCAA rules and get William Avery, get one of his point guards on his staff to be eligible to play. That's about the only thing I think's missing from Duke's roster. They got everything else. If William Avery got some eligibility, that would be the thing I wish for if I was a Duke Blue Devil. Getting him back out there, he's the one guy I'd say that's the only concern that I have with that team. As T.O. said, they're loaded, top to bottom, depth, they defend, but I still think they're missing a point guard at a high level playing at that point guard position.
Yeah, so I just said easy buckets, right? Like they got to find a way to kind of make things a little bit easier for them, whether it's different sets that they're going to run offensively to try to get some easy looks, or like you said, Randolph, a point guard that will be able to make life easier for Cooper Flag. You know, I just feel like a lot of what they do is one-on-one stuff, or kind of get Con Knipple coming off of this off of a pin down and get him to one of those little like turnaround jumpers in the lane. It feels like a lot of the shots that they hit are tough shots as opposed to getting easy buckets. Is there anything in that?
I mean, we're saying the same thing. I just don't think it's anybody there that makes the game easier for someone else. I mean, as talented as Cooper Flag is, you want him scoring. You want Knipple scoring. You want all these guys doing what they do best. And the question that we would ask with these guys is, how many guys naturally, I think they're all sacrificing. You don't get this type of talent together and they're not sacrificing their games. But who does it naturally? Like, there's no, on a serious note, there's no Trey Jones, or, I mean, there's no quintessential point guard on this roster right now that I think if you put one of their traditional point guards on this team, I think now they jump ahead of Auburn, Tennessee, and some of these other teams. I think they would have that much of a complete roster.
T.O.?
I like that. That's kind of why I'm going with the hot potato. I'm kind of thinking, well, we can't give him a point guard, but we can get him a little ball movement.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I've made this reference when we talked about North Carolina several times so far. Like, they'd be midseason trading for a big at this point, but you can't grab one. So I'm going hot potato, just because when you don't have that natural point guard, when you move the ball and you move the defense, you can have some guys attack closeouts. And we haven't seen that so much. A lot of what they've been doing is Cooper Flag, top of the key, trying to force long rotations, as opposed to where if the ball moves, you can get a late rotation coming over and they can use their athleticism around the rim. And we've seen some of that. But at the same time, that's kind of where I'm thinking. Like, no natural point guard, then you have to rely on the ball moving around the perimeter.
Yep, I agree. Are they the number 3 team in the country? Like, can they, real quick, just 15 seconds on it, T.O. and RC, I want your take too. Like, how far are they from Auburn right now and from Tennessee right now?
At this very moment, they are behind them. At this very moment. But this is Christmas. We're not talking about February. We're not talking about March. I think we get to March. John has shown through the time he's been the head coach there at Duke that he is capable of being a guy who's willing to adapt to his roster. And throw in mind, too, his first year they were 18th in KenPom, second year 7th, this year 3rd. And not only that, with those previous 2, they've gotten better and better and better as the season gone along. So I have complete faith that Duke's going to continue that trajectory and that trend. And no reason this team isn't the very best team come March and very capable of a national championship.
For me, they're in the conversation. For me, they're in the conversation now. I mean, they obviously beat them at home in the ACC SEC Challenge. I think they're here now. Every team somewhat has some issues. I think they're still trying to figure that how to manage that spot. Foster was starting now. He's coming off the bench. Isaiah Evans now is forcing himself into the lineup, making himself available, and forcing Shire to play him. So I think the quality they get into their depth of that team, I think that's the key to me is if Evans and even Harris or somebody else, that 10th guy can step up and force Shire to play him, then I don't think there's anybody with 10 better players on their roster than Duke Blue Devils. I don't think anybody in the country has 10 better players. Maybe
Yeah,
Alabama,
I,
maybe.
yeah,
Healthy.
I tend to agree.